Want to get great firework shots? Well, pre-focusing and a steady camera are essential. So you're going to need the tripod, you're going to need a cable or remote release so that you can fire that camera without touching it. And ideally you need to be out of windy conditions that might blow your tripod as well. So let's have a look at some examples here. So we're going to talk about how you can go from single bursts up to multiple bursts and kind of give you clues as to where you should be focusing the camera. So in this case here, we have 2 seconds of a shutter speed. That's enough to be able to get this one burst out. And what you're doing basically is you're waiting to hear the bang, and then you open the camera, you fire the camera at that point. Now in this case here, I'm focused on the tree line because that's roughly where the fireworks are going to fire from. So 2 seconds was enough for a single burst. If there's more than a couple of bursts happening at the same time, you kind of need 4 seconds to be able to do that. And as you can see here, I've got that 4 seconds and I'm focused basically on this grain elevator right here. So the idea of focusing at something that doesn't yet exist, like the fireworks are a prime example of that, is to understand that once you're focused about 50 feet away, somewhere kind of around 20 meters, 20 yards, that kind of thing, then everything from that point beyond is in focus. So you don't have to focus all the way off to infinity. You are reaching infinity at those points anyway. So here we have a large multiple burst. Now we got a whole bunch going off at the same time here, and we wanted to catch the ones up in the sky here. So 6 seconds was enough for that. Focus again can be on the building here. The focus can be on the pontoon right down in the water. 8 seconds for this one because there are quite a few going off all the way here, looking really, really nice. And again, the focus would be roughly where we expect the fireworks to go off. So somewhere over there is going to be fine. One of these boats is going to be fine as well. And all of these shots, notice the ISO is as low as it can go because you want to kind of try to keep that quality, and the brightness of the fireworks will be enough to break through. This one here is 11 seconds. So a whole lot of going on here. We've got multiple fireworks going off left, right, top and bottom, and the focus would be on the buildings themselves. So the trick basically is to listen for that. Now, if you can get the firework program, if such a thing exists, then yes, if you're firing those fireworks off yourself, well, then you're going to know what's happening. But basically you're ready. You're going to have to fire just as you hear the bang. And if there's multiples going off, you want to try and catch them before they reach their height so that you're going to see the journey that it has traveled to get there. So for example, here we see that journey is captured there, and we see that these have actually, there was no journey, they just exploded in the air. Likewise here, but this one here you can see there's that journey as it goes up and then fires in the sky. So what we're looking for is we're looking for shutter priority mode. So shutter priority mode is either going to be S or it's going to be TV on the camera. Time value, so you've got brands will have TV for that, and S shutter priority for others. And as you move, you're dialing in those speeds right there. The speeds are going to be dependent on what's happening. So if there's a single burst, you don't want 11 seconds. That's going to make that quite faded. So you only want those higher numbers, those 10s and 12s, when you're talking about possibly 4, 5 or 6 bursts going off within that time. If it's a single burst, then simply the 2 seconds is usually enough for that. You're going to need to use a release, as I mentioned, and this idea here is very important. Remember to double press on DSLRs. So if you have a DSLR, there's a mirror that's in the way. And so you've got an ability to have the mirror up before the shot's taken, because that mirror slapping up can actually move the camera a little bit, particularly if you've got a wonky tripod, to have the most stable tripod in the world, then that's something to bear in mind with. But for mirrorless cameras, they have no mirror, hence mirrorless. So you don't have to worry about that. So you're looking for that mirror lockup option on your camera. Not all do, but the mid-range and up always. Entry-level cameras, sometimes not. Certainly not on this one here. Manual focus. So the idea is that you would point and focus at the thing that you think is ideal for where the fireworks are going to go off. And then you gently, literally you gently move. Let me show you how this is. So some lenses are really tricky to do this. So I have my autofocus here and there's my manual. So I want to make sure that I'm not touching anything here because that can actually move the focus, move it out of focus. So I'll focus, don't touch anything else, and then click it back. Okay, and then remember to move it back to the A position so that when you take the football shots of your kids the next day, you're wondering why everything's out of focus and you go, oh, I forgot to put it back into autofocus. So manual focus, really crucial. Anti-shake, whatever that's called, vibration reduction, image stabilization, that actually moves the whole camera because the lens itself, or maybe it's in the body, is moving. So just turn that off because you get slightly unsharp images on that. If you're shooting, say at a stadium, do watch for a number of things. Well, here, what we've done is I haven't allowed for enough height in the fireworks display. So shoot wide so that you can do that. And then if you are in a stadium, make sure that the roof itself doesn't restrict the view that you're going to have of those fireworks as they go up into the sky. So if you know the area, great. If you know the place, scout it out beforehand. Try to do that just before it gets too dark, because it can be hard to see things like roofs when it's pitch black because only everything lights up once the fireworks go. So do make sure that you've done that. And basically, that's how you can get great fireworks shots. Try it out before the big day itself and see how that works. So again, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 seconds in that range, depending on the multiple bursts that you're going to get. So if you want great fireworks shots, just remember pre-focusing and a steady camera are absolutely essential. So if you have any questions, just pop them in the comments.